tanong po ni Congressman Paduano, on 3 occasions, tatlong cheque po kasi yan, tatlong 37.5 million. Ito po ba tatlong 37.5 million in cash over the counter on the same date? I mean, 3 separate dates.
Ma'am, ganito lang po. With this huge amount, para safe ka, no, baka mamaya magkamali ka, then gagawa ka ng kwento para to defend your position, at the same time yung opisina mo, better recall mo muna. Basta sabihin mo lang yung totoo, ma'am.
Yes.
No, kung ano talaga nangyari.
Yes.
Kasi, pag lumabas na nagsisinungaling ka, you will violate our Section 11. Alam mo na yon. Alam mo yon, yung consequence.
Yes.
I move to invite the representative from the Bureau of the Treasury, especially those representatives present during the previous hearing for consistencies, Mr. Chairman. So move.
Comsec, please take note of
Noted,
the
Your Honor.
representation of Congressman Paduano.
Mr. Chairman, why we should invite BTR? Because issues about policies with regards to GMC, to regards to the Memorandum Circular 97-02 from COA, and MC 02 of 2019 by the BTR should be, we need to check the consistencies of such GMC and those memorandum circular, Mr. Chairman, with regards to special cash advances. Now, COA, please na lang po, please prepare the next hearing yung question of the requirements for special cash advancement for the SDOs dun po sa mga accountable officers, especially in question of their capacity to refund just in case amount being given to them as authorized by their principal. In this case, it is the Vice President. Kasi po, kailangan natin po yun, no? Sorry? Please use the microphone.
Your Honor po, may I be recognized?
Yes, Ms. Hemora.
Your
you're
Honor,
recognized.
is it for the next hearing? May we be clarified, please?
For the next hearing, kaya nga pinapaunahan ko na po kayo, the questions that I might raise, no? Basta MC 7-002, BTR 02 of 2019 for the Bureau of Treasury, and yung GMC, no? How you check na lang po how consistent, because in the GMC may problema po doon. Kasi the requirements are being laid on the provision with regards to the MC of COA 97-02, napakalinaw po, nandun yung salin. But in the GMC, wala po. Then I will also discuss and ask about the salary grade of all those SDOs that was given an authority from the Vice President. Kasi ang appointing officer is the Vice President. Kasi po, if you look at the salary grade, but of course, salary grade is not only the basis, no? Mr. Chairman, but in fact, of course, salary grade is not only the basis. That is why one of the requirements should be the SALN. Because in the case of Mr. Edward Farda, his salary grade is only 17 with a salary of 41,508. Pero yung encashment niya in one check is 37 million. So we have to check on it. Kasi po, based on the record, napakarami pong mga officers in the office of the Vice President na mataas pong posisyon, but hindi sila binigyan. For example, in the case of Argonza Belinda, ang posisyon niya po ay Supervising Administrative Officer. 75,000 yung ano niya, salary niya. In the case of Cesar Abalon, Chief Education Program Specialist, doon po sa DepEd, ang salary grade niya is 101,000. Why 41,000 with the salary grade 17 was given the authority to encash checks worth 37 million. And it happens not only once, it happens several times. So that will be the question that will be raised by this representation in the next hearing, especially on matters of policy. No, because sabi ko na nga, if the office of the Vice President to the legal department is questioning about jurisdiction of this committee to investigate such government funds and expenditures, we have the jurisdiction because we are now questioning the implementation and some policies of COA, of the BTR, in this particular case. Now, so please, Comsec, paki-ano lang po, paki-inform yung BTR, that will be the question that will be raised in the next hearing po.
Noted, Your Honor.
Thank you. Now, to the Land Bank, of course, a while ago, you mentioned about that you received the invitation in a short notice. That was just yesterday at 4 p.m. But let me remind you, I will not ask the details, but I will ask you now about the policies. And let me remind you, and for the record, we will not ask about specific bank details. And you cannot invoke the bank secrecy law. Well, in fact, that's why in this hearing, again, question of jurisdiction, this committee has the jurisdiction because for the past several years, no, hindi lang to OBP, hindi lang to DepEd, all other agencies in government, and that includes LGU, may problema tayo because during the investigation in other committee, especially in my committee in the public accounts, question of the bank secrecy law is being invoked by the Land Bank. And this time, you cannot invoke because we have now the checks. We have now the checks that was incast in your branch. Now, the first, eto, bibigay ko sa inyo, for Gina Acosta. This check was addressed to Gina Acosta in Shaw Boulevard branch. Shaw Boulevard. Sino ba yung ang manager nyo? Shaw Boulevard. Nandito ba siya? Wala. Wala. Comsec, Mr. Chairman, I move to invite the branch manager of Shaw Boulevard Land Bank in the next hearing.
Comsec, please
Noted,
take
Your
note of
Honor.
the manifestation of Congressman Paduano.
And with regards to DepEd, to the DepEd, nandito rin po yung mga cheque. The total is 112.5 million for 37.5 every check, million every check. Now this is from a Land Bank dito po sa DEX, sa Ultra Compound. Do you have a branch? So, Mr. Chairman, once again, I move that we invite the branch manager of this Land Bank branch for the DepEd.
Comsec, please take note of the manifestation of Congressman Paduano.
Now, let me proceed na lang, Mr. Chair, matter of policy with regards to Land Bank. What is the maximum reserve fund of those mentioned branches?
ABP, Camposano, would you like to respond?
Different branches have different CI cash in vault levels, sir.
Tanong ko magkano yung sa branch na yon, yung sa Ultra at saka doon sa Shaw Boulevard.
I'm not aware of the Shaw Boulevard branch, but with the DepEd branch, it's 10 million.
10 million. Okay, but the check that was incast, or that's why I want the manager of that such branch. Kasi alam ko hindi niya man masasagot. Pero I want her to be present in the next hearing because if the maximum reserve fund of that branch is only 10 million, the check that was it's either in cash or deposited to other banks or other bank accounts was 37.5 million. And it happens not only once, it happens several times. 3 cheque po dito ang hawak namin. Kompleto po, pati yung mga check number nandito. So, ayo, Land Bank, you bring your branch manager the next hearing. And please prepare also for the reserve fund of the Shaw Boulevard branch.
Yes, sir.
Now,
Your Honor.
let me proceed, Mr. Chairman. So what will, specifically, what will be, if in the case of the Ultra Compound branch, maximum is only 10 million. What will happen if the encashment is more than 10 million? And in this case, it's 37.5 million.
We usually ask our client to call us in advance, 2 days or 1 day before the encashment, for us to prepare the amount.
Okay, so 1 day or 2 days notice for the client.
Yes.
Okay. Now next, di ba pag yung client, yung check is under the client's name, he should be or she should be physically present
Yes, sir.
during encashment.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, yun. We will also check that. If Edward Farda, in the case of DepEd, and Jen Acosta is physically and personally present during the encashment. Okay? Now, next question. With the amount of 125 million and 37.5 million, this is just a matter of policy. And I do believe that he cannot bring it wherever he wants, if that was an encashment. So, what will happen?
Sir, I cannot understand what.
Okay, eto lang po. Do you allow delivery of such amount or big cash amount from if the client requests for it
No,
to
sir.
be delivered?
No, sir.
No. Are you sure of that, attorney? Are you sure that it is not allowed?
It depends, sir. If we have a memorandum of agreement with the
Ano lang po,
with the-
pakilapit-lapitan lang po.
It depends if we have an agreement with the client, if with a memorandum of agreement for delivery of payroll of whatever.
Correct. If you have a memorandum of agreement,
Yes, sir.
correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, ganito po. Please submit to this committee because I do not believe that Jen Acosta and Mr. Farda encash that amount, then brought with them to their office or to any place. Diba? So, please bring and submit to this committee that MOA, particularly the branch that was mentioned. Is the branch allowed to have a MOA with the client with such amount? For example, in this case, 37.5 million in one encashment. And the other is much bigger, 4 times. That's 125 million. Do you allow Landbank branches to initiate a MOA with your client with such amount of fund?
It depends on the agreement, sir, with the branch and with the client.
Sandali po. Matter of policy po, tinatanong ko. Do the central office of Landbank allows?
Yes.
Kahit anong halaga?
Yeah. If there is a MOA, if there's a memorandum of agreement, sir.
Hindi nga, yun ang tanong ko eh. Okay, sabihin na natin, may memorandum of agreement. Wala po bang ceiling na amount that you allow the branch? Okay, ganito lang po. If you cannot answer that, please prepare for it on the next hearing. Kasi yun pong mga tanong kasi, Mr. Chairman, I just want to make it clear why I'm asking this question because the banking laws should also be amended, especially the bank secrecy law. Because supposedly, government funds should be exempted. And in the bank secrecy law, there should be a special provision for it. And in fact, supposedly, especially government banks, with regards to MOA, dapat po may ceiling. Kasi, alam naman po natin, okay lang yan pag government fund, but if personal fund, kung may money laundering, well, in fact, until now, it's still 500,000, di ba? Ma'am?
Yes.
500,000 pa rin, di ba?
Above 500,000, sir.
Above 500,000? 500 lang. 500 lang thousand yung,
No, it's above 500,000.
if above 500,000,
Di ba? Above
what is the policy?
sir. In the AMLA, sir.
Sorry? Pakilapit lang po yung,
Any transactions above 500,000 shall be reported to the AMLA.
ayun na nga eh. Yun na nga yung sinasabi ko eh. But in this case, kung 500,000 yung maximum, pero yung withdrawal, especially ito, government funds, 37.5 million, 125 million. Kaya nga, Mr. Chairman, again, I would like to reiterate na kailangan talaga ma-revisit yung banking laws and particularly yung bank secrecy law. Kasi this in my 11 years in Congress with regards to investigation, especially the which land bank or government banking institution is involved, lagi po nakatali yung kamay ng Kongreso because of this bank secrecy law. But again, you cannot anymore invoke that bank secrecy law because COA has already submitted all the checks. But I will not ask about the details in the next hearing with regards to how much is the actual bank, yung laman ng bank account ng DepEd or the Office of the Vice President. But I will ask you, how did these transactions happen? Kasi po, unang-una, ang tanong po, ano ba to? Si Edward Farda, cash encashment bang ginawa niya o yung cheque, transfer niya sa ibang bangko?
Encashment, sir.
Sigurado ka, encashment?
Yes, sir.
Paano mo nalaman?
I was the former branch manager of the DepEd branch, sir.
Okay. So ito, alam mo.
Yes, sir.
Alam mo. So pwede na kitang tanungin ngayon o pwede na o next hearing na?
Next hearing, sir.
Okay, mabait ako ngayon. Okay, next hearing ha. Magandaan mo, ikaw pala, hindi mo, dapat sana, kaya pala alam mo yung specific na location ng branch na yun kasi ikaw pala yung ano dito, branch manager noon.
Yes, sir.
Kaya alam mo.
Yes,
So, you're familiar about all these checks
Yes, sir.
and how these checks was encashed.
Yes, sir.
And how was it delivered? The cash.
It was not delivered.
Oh. Alam mo. Yung delivery from the bank. Ikaw yung branch manager, hindi mo alam how it was delivered?
the, the cash from our cash center, sir, or the cash for the ano
No,
or
for example, we're talking about the first check, 37.5 million. Ang bangko nyo ba nag-deliver? O
Over the counter.
binitbit ni Farda?
I think the question, ma'am, is how it was encashed. So kung paano po ba to over the counter?
Yes, sir.
So isang bagsak, magkano pong amount yan, Congressman?
37.5 million.
So yung 37 po ba, in over the counter yung pag-encash?
Yes, sir.
On the same day, 37 was released, 37 million
Yes, sir.
pesos was released.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sigurado ka ba, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so all three ba or 4 checks? 3 checks. Ganon ginawa yung 37.5 million?
I will have to check first.
Oh, tama
I
si
cannot
Atty.
recall how many checks.
Oh, you should recall. Kasi pupunta tayo dito hanggang doon sa kung kailangan namin ipasubuin na yung CCTV nyo. Papasubuin na namin.
Ang tanong po ni Congressman Paduano, on 3 occasions, 3 cheque po kasi yan, 37.5 million. Ito po ba 37.5 million in cash over the counter on the same date? I mean, 3 separate dates.
Ma'am, ganito lang po. With this huge amount, para safe ka, baka mamaya magkamali ka, then gagawa ka ng kwento para to defend your position, at the same time yung opisina mo, better recall mo muna. Basta sabihin mo lang yung totoo, ma'am.
Yes,
Kung ano talaga nangyari.
Yes, sir.
Kasi, pag lumabas na nagsisinungaling ka, you will violate our Section 11. Alam mo na yon. Alam mo yon, yung
Yes.
consequence.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, siguro, better prepare na lang po for the next hearing, no? Yung mga possible questions. Be sure na kung transfer, it was transferred to other bank accounts. Kung pinangkas at hinatid. Diba? Or, pinangkas, binitbit ni Edward. Tama?
Yes.
Okay. So, for the meantime, Mr. Chairman, yun lang muna. I think I have already called the attention of the BTR and